people today. They could spend half their lives over 50. That's a lot of living. So it helps to have a wise friend and fierce defender in your corner. A friend like AARP. So your health lives longer.
This is just slow-mo karate?
Just slow-mo karate.
Your money lives longer.
I just bought that.
I just sold that.
And your happiness lives longer. That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP. Join today.
Welcome to AARP Illinois' virtual event. It's so wonderful to have you with us. AARP is on a mission to connect with individuals across various communities, especially those aged 50 and above. We're here to listen, understand, and address the unique needs of you and your community as we age. Our goal is to enrich your experience by expanding our local activities, providing opportunities for you to discover and engage with all that life has to offer right here in your own community and virtually. As we journey through today's event, we invite you to consider joining our dedicated team of AARP volunteers. It's a chance to make a meaningful impact and help us better serve those 50 plus across the nation. Connect with us and be a part of this vibrant movement toward positive change. Welcome, and let's make this event both fun and transformative.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to AARP Illinois special virtual event. I'm Courtney Hederman, Senior Associate State Director for AARP Illinois and your Fraud Fighting Fraudlette. Happy New Year. We haven't seen each other since last year, so I hope you had wonderful holidays. It's super cold here in Chicago, very snowy, very cold. So wherever you are, I hope you are staying warm. Today, I am thrilled to welcome someone very special to the AARP Illinois family. She is a wonderful volunteer dedicated to protecting older adults and empowering communities. She brings passion, experience, and a powerful commitment to helping people stay safe from fraud, too. So please join me in welcoming Annetta Works Sally. Annetta, you're officially welcomed as a Fraud Fighting Fraudlette.
Yay!
Yay! I'm so happy you're here. I'm so excited to welcome you and to be my partner on this journey as we're fighting fraud. Welcome. So incredibly thrilled and happy that you're joining me. Okay. Yes. So I thought it would be best for everybody to get to know Annetta, right? So we can spend our time together today getting to know you. And before we get started, of course, just want to remind everybody, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're viewing us, you can ask questions, you can share your comments in the social media feed. So feel free to put those in there. We'll do our best to address as many of the questions or comments as possible during our conversation. Okay, Annetta, again, welcome. I'm so excited. Maybe to start us off, maybe you can just share a little bit about your background and who you are.
Thanks, Courtney. I tell you, today I have been waiting for this day, and it is cold here as well as Southern Illinois. Let me just start off by saying, background. I am not doing the resume today because it's not needed. But what I would like to share so everyone gets just a good idea of why AARP, why fraud, why advocacy. My background is rooted in communication. It's also in community education and facilitation. I've spent several decades, yes, I can say several decades, working with adults in leadership development, faith-based spaces, and community organizations, and helping people find their voice and use it, to make informed decisions and feel empowered rather than overwhelmed or scammed. I use my platforms to create these safe spaces, not only to practice, but to learn, collaborate, and ask questions and take action with confidence. That's what my passion is about. I've worked and volunteered in spaces that dealt with, patient relationships. It was a healthcare organization. I've also done advocacy work in the faith-based organizations as well. So this comes natural to me. And I grew up with parents who knew how to use their voice, and they taught us how to do the same and not to be afraid to do that. So that's where it comes from.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, this is fantastic. You fit perfectly. Just saying, it's perfect. I'm so happy that all of your experience and expertise and what you've learned, and that you can absolutely translate it into this type of work too. So incredible. Okay. So tell me, is there experiences in your personal or professional life that sparked your interest in fraud prevention? Because obviously we're going to be talking about fraud, right? So is there something that kind of draws you to that?
I'm glad you asked that question. One, when I said rooted and I grew up in, I really meant that. I remember my first junior achievement experience. I was president. Now, this is when I was like in junior high, to be exact. Junior high then was 7th and 8th grade. And I remember that the company that sponsored our group was Illinois Power.
Okay, yeah.
And I just learned from those executives that came down and spent time with us, the questions that people had about their electricity, and that how some people, this was really before you could it was outsourced per se, and people didn't really understand basically how to read their bill.
Yeah.
And then they didn't understand what the charges and things were. And so they took time with us to make sure we understood just those basic things. And then I got to thinking, even then, I was like, well, if people don't know, they could easily be, come into some type of trouble if somebody asked them for information, their personal information, credit checks. It just kind of spilled over into other areas where we know fraud happens. And identity theft. I had a personal case with that, in that I was, my identity was taken. And I'll say that because my credit union was fast acting, I didn't have anything that really happened to me directly, thank goodness, but just the fact that somebody wanted to use my information. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. And then there were times that my credit card information was stolen. Not only my identity, that was a separate, but just identity. So I had incidents as I grew older. And I will say closer to maybe about 20 years ago that these things happened to me, the identity theft. And so it wasn't younger that I didn't know, but when I was older and I had some information, which led me to believe I needed to stay more in tune and be able to advocate more.
Right. No, clearly from all of that experience, wow, all the way from junior high, that's pretty incredible that you were that astute even all the way back then to now. I mean, obviously you're going to bring a wealth of information, knowledge, experience to our work here. So, thank you for sharing that. Sometimes it's not easy to share, like when, someone is, you've had an issue, you've had it's certainly in-depth experience like identity theft, and no one necessarily always wants to share that kind of stuff, right? So thank you for sharing that, because it's important, right? We know it's important to share.
Yes, and Absolutely. It was for that reason why the shame that comes with that. Right. What would people think? How did they get that out of you? And because I wasn't afraid to use my voice, that was even the stronger point that not only piqued but kept the interest. I need to do more.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that you learned that from obviously you had awesome parents, and, some people are afraid to use their voice. And so to kind of learned that along the way, and then now you've transcended and, you're using your voice in a really big way now, as an older adult. Even I think that's incredible, amazing story, awesome. Okay, so here's my next question. So, obviously AARP has the Fraud Watch Network, and the Fraud Watch Network relies heavily on dedicated volunteers. So obviously, when we started the Fraud Fighting Fraudlettes, it was a little bit of a takeoff of the Fraud Watch Network, because we were already, AARP was doing fraud work, and then the fraudlettes kind of began because we really wanted to do something specifically here in Illinois and share it among the masses. And so anyway, maybe as I came to you and said, hey, would you want to maybe do this or be a part of this? I guess maybe what has inspired you to kind of step into the role in being a fraud fighting fraudlette?
That do more. Now, anybody will tell you, and that is busy enough, but I wanted to be able to do more intentional work. Mm-hmm. And I saw this as an opportunity, not only, just as you said, we are partnered with the Fraud Watch Network. We have opportunity to be the boots on the ground in our areas, and then help others take on this role and take it to their areas, because I know that there are people that want to do more but don't know how to do more or how to connect, mm-hmm. as well as how do I share this to be empowered to share and tell others.
Right. I think that's a big part of what our efforts are and should be, that we are sharing not only what we learn and what we know, but also bring the voices of others, right? Yes. Because if someone's experiencing, a specific type of scam, and maybe it's new. I mean, like, there's scams that I feel like are very much evolving all the time. Like, we hear something new all the time. That's how I look at it. And we have to share that. And obviously that means that someone's reported, right? Like, so we know that these things are happening. So they're reporting it. We're encouraging people to report. And then we have to literally share with the masses these reportings. So someone could then share their story, and it'll help not only themselves, hopefully in the future, but truly help someone else. So then they're aware, oh, wait, that happened to someone. That happened to Annetta. That happened to Courtney. I heard from something. I heard from the AARP Fraud Watch Network. Yeah, I'm not gonna fall for that, or I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna choose something else or ask more questions. So I think that's going to be a big job for us, but I know we are taking it on, and we're happy to, right?
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Awesome. Also, the fact that legislation that do more, yes, getting the word out, yes, being empowered to share and collectively informing others is great, but how much more can we do? The thing of legislation to put policy in place to prevent. That was the other more.
Right. I love the do more. I love that. I love that message. I love that spirit. And we're going to take that and do more. I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay. So here's my kind of other piece. You've kind of talked a little bit about this, but I think it's important to maybe touch on. Again, I made reference, obviously, fraud trends and scams and things like that just really are constantly evolving. So are there any particular types of scams or fraud issues that you're especially passionate about addressing and that you really, really hope that we work on?
Yes. Caregiver targeted fraud.
Okay.
And people that care for their loved ones or have that heart to just care for others in a professional way get scammed. And how do they not only recover from that, but how do they share, especially if it involves the person that they're caring for? Digital scams. AI is here and it's not going anywhere. So we need to learn how to navigate with it and through it so that we won't become a targeted of what happens naturally or physically is happening digitally. And the last one, again, impersonation scams, where identity theft.
Yeah, like imposter and anybody who's impersonating somebody else or something else Gosh, that could be
Yes.
like a business
Yeah.
or a person. I mean, for sure, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, those are big
Exactly.
ones, right? I love that. We do have, it's kind of like a question, but I think maybe more of a comment too, but from somebody from Facebook that's listening. So thank you for listening, everybody. It says, I need help with the anxiety that affect me with these scams. So I'm guessing that this person probably feels a lot of uneasiness and anxiety around probably not wanting to make a mistake, or just the things that affect us in making sure that we're not falling for a scam or becoming a victim of identity theft, etc. Like, so what do you think about that?
That is a very good question. And
Mhm.
I was one that I live with anxiety, but it's well managed now. But those scams, those things have, especially the identity, just knowing someone took something from me that I didn't give them. Um, they were empowered with information that belonged to me, and that really sent me spiraling. Also, I am an Army veteran. So there were tools and resources available to me to help me through that. And I still continue to use them today,
Mhm.
because anyone, whether it's me directly or someone else, especially those that I love, that is a trigger. When someone has been impacted by a scam or just identity theft. And again, not just people, businesses too. I've had people that I know that have been impacted, and it really sent them really in another place. So
Mhm.
that anxiety is real, and how to manage that. My primary care provider we have a very good relationship. So she was able to connect me with resources in the mental health field. And again, the VA helps me manage that now
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. And obviously, thank you very much for your service. Before I continue on, just want to say thank you so very much. I know you're, obviously being a veteran is near and dear to your heart, and the service that you gave to our country. So thank you for that. And I think that also experience and expertise will lend itself in a big way into this issue and topic. So I look forward to doing, talking more about that and working with you in regards to that type of work. And obviously for the person who asked that question, just want to say I completely hear that, and I understand the anxiety that you and others feel. You're not alone. Let me just say that you are so not alone. And I think you bring up a really good topic that would be a great topic for us to dive deeper into and actually have a medical professional with us and talking about anxiety and the tools and tips that maybe people could take advantage of, especially in dealing with something like this. So I appreciate this suggestion, and we will absolutely have another session, a Fraud Fighting Fraudlette session on dealing with some of the anxiety that we experience because of just, there's so much to always think about and learn about and kind of deal with, and want to make sure everybody feels comfortable and armed with all those tools so they feel great every day as much as possible. So thank you again for that suggestion.
Yeah, thank you, Ben.
Yeah, thank you. So here I have a couple other questions. I know our time is even getting closer and closer, but I do, and you kind of already made reference to veteran stuff, but I definitely want to give you the space so people really do know the breadth of all the stuff that you're doing. But I know you volunteer in other things, right? Not just AARP and not just in fraud, but so maybe you can share a little bit about some of the other interests and passions that you have.
So glad that you asked. And again, I do volunteer in other spaces because it's my passion to help people. One group that I'm really passionate about is Girl Trek. And there I serve on the Blue Brigade team. And that team is the outreach team, checking on those who walk. Girl Trek is an organization dedicated to Black women's health. And walking is a way that we help to combat anxiety, stress, and it also is an opportunity to bring us together. So wellness initiatives are my biggest passion, and Girl Trek is just one of the areas that I volunteer in for that. Also, my church, my faith, and I lead women's life groups, and we talk about the different things that impact our life and how we can keep shining our light to the world, especially in times like these. So those are just a couple of the areas, but always predominantly with women's leading, faith-based mentoring, and wellness initiatives that are truly focused on aging well.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love all of that. Incredible. And obviously, to have an organization that is looking at anxiety and other types, I mean, it fits in right where we were just talking about. So you're obviously going to have lots to bring to the table here for all of us. You're a very dedicated volunteer, not just with AARP, but obviously other organizations. And so I know you made reference to, do more, but I'm just curious, like, what does volunteer work do for you personally? Like, obviously you're impacting your community, but how do you hope that impact, works, and how does it then make you feel, I guess?
Well, I can say it makes me feel good being rooted and growing up in this type of lifestyle. That's just what it is. It isn't like just another thing that I do or just something good to do. It gives me that warm fuzzy that I did help someone. Mm-hmm. But when we were talking about anxiety, that is something that is important to me now in this season of my life. How do I age well? And how do I take care of Annetta? And when Annetta is giving, Annetta's happy. Because Annetta, it isn't to give to get, but it is so I can continue to give. When I give, I get more. Mm-hmm. And I can, I'm able to give more. And that's really plain and simple what it is. Even when I'm advocating, when I'm using my voice, giving voice to the voiceless, or being that voice for the collective. Mm-hmm. I feel good when I do that. And I know the impact. I've been passed the baton and I'm passing it on. And as long as I'm speaking or writing or advocating, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And that's what helps me manage anxiety.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing that. We did have a question on Facebook from Anne. It says, will you be teaching today about fraud trends and protecting ourselves against common frauds? And so Anne, definitely want to address that. Today's kind of session, if you will, was to obviously introduce Annetta to everybody. We're obviously a series that runs every month. We are the last Monday at 10 a.m. Central every single month, except the month of May, because that last Monday is Memorial Day, and that last Monday of December is, of course, Christmas time. So we go a week earlier on May and December, but otherwise we are the very last Monday at 10 a.m. Central every single month. We thought we would start off this year, our 2026 January, introducing Annetta and kind of going through then what we hope to, work on in the future. And so we hear you. We want to talk about fraud trends. We want to talk about protecting ourselves, and we absolutely will be doing that for sessions going forward. This is kind of an intro, if you will, to all of our work in 2026 for sure. So stay tuned and come back to us, and you can always then get our resources off the Fraud Watch Network and our AARP Illinois site, which I'll be giving in a second. So just wanted to share that. Okay, so Annetta, I think, maybe just kind of to wrap us up or whatever, maybe you can share a little bit what you're most excited about in your role here, and then really any message you'd like to share with, other adults that are listening, anyone, no matter what their age is, about volunteering and really ultimately getting involved in issues like fraud and really joining us in being fraud fighters.
Thank you, Courtney. I would say your lived experience matters. Your lived experiences matter. You don't have to be an expert. I'm not an expert, but I do know what I know based on a lived experience. And with that, I added knowledge. but I needed a place to practice that, to apply it. And volunteering with AARP Illinois specifically lets me do that in the areas where I feel the most confident. And even when I don't, when my heart says do it, I know there are other leaders and there are staff here at AARP Illinois that will help me bring what I bring to the table in a way that will have impact that matters, impact that lives are changed, whether it's protecting one another, preserving one's dignity, or strengthening our communities. I'm not alone in this. I can bring my little and put it with everyone else's little, and that little becomes much when it's all together. So that's what I would just like everybody to know.
Yeah, I love
about
it.
Volunteering, period.
That's great. That's great. Yes, we're going to be welcoming lots of folks to join our efforts. There's so many ways to get involved in fraud, whether you're here in Illinois or even across the country. AARP is dedicated to be working on frauds and scams. We have so much happening in 2026, so there's so many opportunities to get involved, and we welcome everyone. Before we close, we did have another question. Also on Facebook, what is the scam when you get a text hello from an unknown number? And so just want to address that really fast. There is a scam that's out there. If you pick up the phone and you hear hello, there's kind of two scenarios that happen. One, sometimes that automated message is like hello, and then it's going into, I'm from X organization, or I'm a tax collector, or I'm a so-and-so. And, they're wanting you to either stay on the line. So you actually do something, meaning usually give your name, your information. They're obviously wanting your information as much as they can get. Ultimately, their end goal is to get information enough where they can either take your identity, steal that identity, and or have you send money, like actually exchange of money. So it's usually those one of two things. The other part is that sometimes you might have heard of the scam of you're hearing hello, and then what happens is you're saying hello back. And so they're trying to record your voice. So then your voice is then used really against you essentially in a later time, or that your voice is then used to scam someone else. And so this is when if you hear hello, I wouldn't, this is my best tip and my best advice. You hear the words hello on the phone, don't say anything, just let it roll. And if they're saying hello again, and obviously it's an unknown number, you don't know who this person is, you don't need to say anything, just hang up. Obviously, if the message continues and it is, some other type of scam, then it's not a voice recording one. It's more about these other scams that take place. Either way, I always say if it's an unknown number, either A, don't pick it up. And if you do pick it up, just hang up. And you don't have to do anything. Just let it roll. Just let it roll. So there's my best tips for today on that one.
Very good, Courtney. Less is best in that scenario.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I can't believe this, but we're actually at the end of our call. Didn't I tell you, Annetta, how fast it goes? It goes so quick. So Annetta, thank you so very much for sharing your story. For your experience, your passion, your commitment to helping others and protecting others. I look so much forward to working with you in the coming months and the coming year. We're so grateful to have you part of the AARP Illinois team. And obviously, I am super excited to work with you and make a difference together as Fraud Fighting Fraudlettes. So thank you again. Welcome. Together, everyone, we can empower communities, expose scams, help people stay safe and confident in an increasing complex world. So we know if we do this together, we stay in it together, then we're gonna stay safe. So thank everybody. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the suggestions. Appreciate your participation today. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to continuing our mission of supporting older adults, caregivers, and the entire aging community in Illinois and, of course, across the country. For more information regarding fraud, you can call 877-908-3360. Again, I'll give that number again, 877-908-3360, or you can visit our website at aarp.org/FraudWatchNetwork. That's aarp.org/FraudWatchNetwork. And of course, if you'd like more information on AARP's upcoming virtual events, you can go to our website, aarp.org/IL. So again, aarp.org/IL. Again, you can find me and Annetta, your Fraud Fighting Fraudlettes, every Monday or every last Monday of every month, minus May and December, but every last Monday of the month at 10 a.m. Central. We welcome you. So come back to us next month. We look forward to talking about our next topic. We're super excited, but join us next month. We're going to be sharing AARP Illinois' Fraud Fighter campaign and AARP's Fraud Fighting campaign, and of course, how you can get involved. So more to come, more tips, more sharing, the whole shebang. We can't wait. So everybody have the most wonderful day. Stay warm wherever you're at. And this concludes our virtual event. Thanks so much.